All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Sunday, July 10th, 2022. Just doing a little crypto update for everyone. Haven't done one in a while, so want to do a little crypto update here. By the way, I know I'm a little backed up on emails. I'm going to get back to everybody today, so not ignoring anybody, just got really backed up there, but I'm going to try and get to those today after this video, actually. But anyways, here, so basically the bottom line, and I've kind of been outlining this in the last couple of weeks here. The video I did yesterday for Wall Street for Main Street, I kind of talked about the bottom line being with Bitcoin right now, you have higher lows and you now slightly made higher highs. So as of Friday, that was July 8th right there, we did take out this high, and obviously we have a higher low in place. So that is a good sign here for crypto. And overall, you can see it pretty much across the board. So there's Ether, there's your low, and then there's your higher low there. Didn't quite make a higher high. Doge, higher lows here, didn't quite make a higher high. Some of these alts are a little bit weaker here, but you do see the higher lows for the most part, which is a good sign. But there are a few negatives here. But in the short term right now, what I'm looking for with Bitcoin, major level here is 20,240. So that's going to be this green bar low. You want to see that hold on a closing basis. Otherwise, there could be a little bit more downside here in the cards in the near term. And then on the upside, you really want to get above, well, back above this pivot here, which is 21,911. But the major level here for me is 22,989, which is this red bar high. If you clear that on a closing basis, that gives Bitcoin probably the upside bias about 2550, somewhere in that area. Which would obviously, rising tide will lift all boats. So Bitcoin is the leader, and it will bring up the rest of these alts here for Ether. Those levels here, 1281. So that's your pivot high right there. I want to see it get above that. You already kind of are below, or really kind of testing this small kind of inside bar that coincides with this one on Bitcoin. So again, you can see the alts are weaker here. But really it would be, so the next level would be this green bar low here at 1044. So you want to see that hold. Doge actually a little disappointing with the action today. I've been talking about this kind of rounded kind of bottom pattern here. You almost have kind of like an up move and even kind of like a cup and handle or a rounded bottom here at the top, but it's starting to get tested on the downside. Now there's still chance for it to break back up and just become a test candle, but essentially you don't want to see it lose this low here or this green bar close. So at about 60 cents there on Doge. And then obviously your major level here is this high at 78.6. So those are your levels there on Doge. Polkadot's much weaker here. It's really just don't want to see it lose that blue line. And then after that, you've got double bottom. Litecoin, 47.91 is your low here. So we want to see it stay above that. And then the high there is 56.30. So that would be your level there. And it's pretty much the same across the board. You can see XRP here. You want to see it hold this low. There's your high. You can see the same thing, across the board. Solana, Cardano. So really those levels there, those pivots are what we're watching here in the near term. And so far, my kind of outlook right now is your positives are, like I've said, you've made higher lows for the most part, and Bitcoin is holding up. Really the negatives right now are that alts are not leading. So we just talked about, even like Polkadot, it's barely made a higher high, or excuse me, a higher low from the bottom on the 13th to the 30th. So we barely made that higher low, and we're barely off the lows right now as it is. Doge, had a nice little pattern here, but that's starting to dip down. You can see Litecoin here, decent little rounded bottom pattern, but nowhere near the June 26th high. Whereas Bitcoin, easily got ahead of that on Friday. Didn't close above it, but it still made a higher high nominally. So that is, a good sign here in the near term, sign of strength. And we're not seeing that from the alts. I'd like to see the alts kind of lead here. If we flip over here to Thinkorswim, and we just look at some of these NASDAQ stocks. So here's the triple Qs. You're about like 10% or so off the lows. But you look at some of these stocks, these growth names, Carvana, up 25% in one day. And it's holding that level here. Shopify, went from 29 essentially to 35, $36 in 4 days. You look at some of these biotech stocks, or here's a Snowflake. Look at how hard that's ripped off the lows, 112 to basically 160. And then, the biotechs, look at XBI here. Look at this move off the lows, squeeze in these growth names, IGV, the cloud software names. This has been outperforming, really, it's been outperforming the whole market since May 12th. So there's a May 12th bottom, and you look at the triple Qs, that didn't bottom until the 15th of June. So And same thing with the SPY here, didn't bottom until the 17th. So we're seeing outperformance in some of these growth names. You know, look at Intella, look at the move off the lows there, these biotechs, these things that are being down, even, you know, the Bitcoin related equities. Look at the move on Marathon here. So you put in a low 527 and closed at 851 on Friday. MSTR up 40% from the recent low, not even from the May 11th pivot, but just from this pivot at 150 here, it's up 40% as of Friday's close. So big moves here in some of these Bitcoin related equities, and big moves in some of the growth stocks that have been beaten down big time. So we're seeing those names lead, but we're not seeing the alts lead. So that is kind of a negative to me moving forward. But the bigger negative here is really the weekly pattern. So we took a look at Bitcoin here. This is a weekly inside bar. So we've got, you know, big sharp move down and then kind of a dead cat bounce starting to move sideways. Same thing here, you know, move down, move sideways. That's an inside bar, bearish inside bar. Move down, inside bar. You did try to break above it. You couldn't get back above this 50 moving average on a, you know, you couldn't sustain above it. And then just what, 7, 8, 9 weeks down in a row. Another inside bar down. And now we have another inside bar here. So we're just repeating this bearish pattern here. Ether, inside bar, you know, Doge inside of this candle. Polkadot very weak inside of this red candle. Like, you go across the board. So it's basically the same thing across the board here. You even got like a inside bar here and then a micro inside bar on Litecoin. So we're looking at this bearish weekly pattern here, and it is bearish consolidation. It's building a bear base. So that is kind of the big overarching negative I see regarding crypto right now, and it's looking like it wants to set up to move lower. Now, the good news is I'll still give crypto kind of the upside bias here, as long as the equity markets can remain, you know, the volume can remain light. And, you know, if stocks hold up, if we can have kind of a summer rally like I've been talking about, then crypto is likely to hold up as well. And you might ask, well, why do you keep going back to equity markets? Listen, guys, it's all connected. So crypto is connected to stocks. Stocks are connected to bonds. Forex is connected to everything. It's all part of the same system, and it's all part of the same really over leveraged system. And that's why we're seeing these big dumps and these big exodus and these crypto desks going, you know, belly up right now. And you know, it's filtering into the mortgage market. We look at the home builders here. We talk about the home builders every day. You know, look at what XHB has done over the last, you know, year or so. Big sell off there. We look at mortgage rates, you know, up near 6% now, inverted 10-year treasury yield. So we're seeing the signs of this across the board. And you know, crypto is as leveraged as anything, and people have their homes mortgaged based off of, you know, Bitcoin and their Bitcoin holdings. This stuff, it matters. So it's all part of the same system. But again, I still give crypto and Bitcoin for the most part the upside bias. I think we can, you know, have maybe kind of a little zigzag up move here into the midsummer as we get into the summer doldrums period, as long as the volume remains light and as long as, you know, these NASDAQ stocks can hold up and, you know, get some type of a relief rally going. After that, it's going to be much more challenging. Now, what would change that is if Bitcoin could close above this red bar high on a weekly basis at 26,868.31. So if you close above that on a weekly basis, that would negate the pattern, and I'd say there's significant upside in the cards. I don't know how long that would last, or you know what, I'd have to see what it looks like when we get there, but that would kind of negate that pattern, and it would give you a failed inside bar, which can give you a pretty powerful move to the upside. I don't expect that to happen, but essentially that is the case there. So, and with Ether, you know, this one's a little bit more minor here at 1453, because you still have this big red one there, and then you've got that tail candle. So if you got above this on a weekly basis, I'd give it the upside bias to about 1750. But really, I'm really just going off the leader right now, because with the weakness in alts, they're really just trading off of Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin's levels matter to me more than anything. So 20,240 in the short term, that's kind of what we're looking there. Want to stay above that on a daily closing basis. If it can do that, you know, then it can make a run at this pivot here at 22,989. So that's kind of what we're looking for in the short term. But again, bigger picture, you've got that big weekly inside bar. And again, you know, leverage is in the system. We're seeing deleveraging right now. That's why we have all, you know, these massive sell-offs and all these different equities and all these different, you know, assets and sectors. And you got to keep that in mind. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. Take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.